I said at the beginning, it's very important to check on the older relatives and neighbors, the most vulnerable people, as well as children. So you can give them a call or stop to their house to check if they are fine and if they drink enough water, because we know that older people sometimes they don't want to drink because they are not thirsty, but they need to drink. Next one, please. In terms of first aid and climate change, of course, with first aid, you can save people, and it's an essential response to climate changes during heat waves, in case of floods, climate migration, we see that more and more, fires, and of course, as you know, you will be the first link of the chain of survival, and the first hand that will help a victim will be always a neighbor, a friend, or a family member. Next one, please. So Pascal will tell you more about online information we have and sources.
Of course, we can speak about the relation between climate and first aid. Today is the heat wave, but we can imagine other problem as when you are in the mountains or other things. And it's very clear that we are at your disposition to answer to climate change and the possibility of a relation with first aid. For that, you have first, of course, the Climate Center website, because the Climate Center is dedicated to this terrible change our planet is ongoing, and it's very clear that you can go directly to the climatecenter.org. You have the GFAC YouTube channel where you can find many things about first aid. And last and not least, you can go to the City Heatwave guide. The City Heatwave guide can help you, and some slides come from this guide can help you to see how, and to know what to do and what you can present perhaps in your national society or in your office or to your friend. What could be the effects of the climate for our health? So that's very important that we want to say to you tonight. It's very clear that it's a short presentation, because now we want to, of course, answer you if you have questions, concern, remarks on that, and perhaps other things concerning first aid in relation with the climate. You can write in the chat. You can take the floor. Don't hesitate. If the first question is difficult, begin by the second. Oh, so quiet. Salome, you motivate in your good. No question in the chat. It's so simple. It's
it's difficult.
difficult to have,
yeah,
to have question.
You don't know how to counter the silence. You don't know what the silence means. Do not hesitate also to ask, like, if you need some, advices regarding national society preparedness, or either some deeper question regarding the heat waves as a scientific point of view. So,
of course, as we said, the the two limits or the age who are the most exposed to this aggression of our health. And of course, babies and elderly person are really the person who are exposed to this sort of accident. And of course, it's also necessary to take in mind that the heat stroke and its exhaustion sometimes can happen without the sun, just the atmosphere. If the atmosphere is very hot, you can have the sign of heat exhaustion. And sometimes it's professionals who are working in an area where it is very hot and who can have this heat exhaustion. So it's necessary to be very careful. Also, of course, as you know, the babies in cars, for example, each year all around the world, sometimes babies are dying because we let the baby on the car, and of course, the car was not on the sun, but perhaps behind a tree. But the temperature was very hot very quickly in this car, and the baby can die very quickly in some minutes. Half an hour, it's enough to kill a baby when the temperature in the car is nearly 40 degrees Celsius. So really difficult. A question: any tool available? Alors we have for the behavior change. Yeah. Please take the floor, Swazik.
I will share some resources in the chat in a minute. Pascal, you have Sylvia who asked also, in the recent years, have the cases of heat waves increased? And yeah, regarding the tools, I check that now.
Yeah. Effectively, it's concerning the treatment between children and elderly. It's nearly the same as you see when we have heat stroke. It's very important to be very graduate in our first aid gesture, especially because for babies we have to be aware that the temperature is decreasing very quickly. So even we have to give a very cold bath. After, we have to monitor the temperature very quickly because it's necessary to avoid, of course, an hypothermia. Or sometimes when you decrease too quickly the temperature, you can have some convulsion, and that's very important to be aware on that. I saw also concerning the prevention is of course very important, and effectively we have to say to people that it's necessary to prevent this sort of accident. And concerning the heat exhaustion, it's especially the people who are doing sports, because people who are doing sports, especially because when they are not professional, it's very clear that they can be dehydrated very quickly, and they can be first in heat exhaustion, and sometimes nearly heat stroke. I don't know if you remember this marathon girl in the Olympic Games who arrived nearly the final line, and she was in fact in heat stroke, and another girl helped her to finish the marathon. But it was absolutely terrible, because of course non-professional people are exposed on that, but sometimes professional also. So it's very important for people to know that we have to prevent, and for that we have to prevent by drinking, of course, drinking and eating also before effort when it's outside, and that's the very important things to take in mind is the prevention of this sort of accident, which could be dramatic. You put some resource, Salome, on the chat.
Yes, sorry, Pascal. I think there was also a question regarding if the number of cases of heatwave has increased in the last years.
I don't. In fact, yes, yes and no. We can say. In fact, it's we depend of course of the region of the globe where you are, and of course also it's we can say that a country who have the habits of high temperature are less exposed to heat stroke because they know what to do. The example of France, because the GVAC is in France, we had a terrible heat wave in 2003, and the result was thousands of people dying, and especially elderly. And it's very clear that for the future we have to be prudent, and we must prepare our new generation to have probably this heat aggression to our world, and it's very important again to multiply this sort of information to the lay public, and of course we can say that we had in all around the world some heat wave century ago, but it's very clear that specialists of the climate said us that probably we are exposed to more and more heat wave in the near future.
Thank you. So Martha Vogel joined later and wanted to know what are efficient ways to improve underreporting of heatwave impacts. If you have some information, Pascal, about that, it's in the chat.
I read again the case. I don't know. In fact, we effectively in country we had heat wave. The authorities has now a better approach of that, because politically is very important to prepare the population on heat wave, and of course during some heat wave. In the example of France was one, the preparation of the population, but also the authorities was bad. It was more than nearly 20 years ago, and we at this time we have no register concerning the impact. Now it's not the case, and also the message of the television, in the radio, are more often now to prepare the population and to say to the population, be careful, the heat wave is coming. So it's really working together with communicants and organization to give information to the public, and it's very clear that the measure of the impact it's very important. All the country who unfortunately had an heat wave during the 20 last year now are better prepared, and of course we can expect that the impact of the next the next heat wave will be not so important than the previous one.
So we can say last chance. Is there any question? So Marta raised the hand. So maybe Marta, you would like to speak. So I invite you to activate your microphone if you can.
Yeah, hello everybody. Hey, can you hear me? So I just joined later, but
yes,
interesting session. So I was for my question was also really going in this direction on the difference between North and South. So we have this. I was working a lot on heat wave and heat wave impacts, but more in Europe or in the North. But we have really this issue of underreporting or discrepancy in measuring heat waves in sub-Saharan Africa, for example. So this was where my question was intended to go to. So if you have any approaches, how you can effectively measure heat waves in sub-Saharan Africa, or also if you have a system to report impacts there, because I think there's a big difference between here and in other regions.
That's true, and effectively, sometimes it's a long-term heat wave when in the south, and of course in the north, sometimes it's a really heat wave limited in the time. I know that our climate center colleague are working on that, probably with the African regional office, because it's effectively very important for this continent, especially the Africa, to be aware on the impact and what could be the prevention we can propose to the community, and especially because we the community-based health and first aid, we can try to involve the community preparing this sort of accident incidents, and to have some community level aware and able to measure, and especially to say, oh, it's not the normal temperature this month. It's too hot, and we have to have an alarm sign. And of course, it's probably one thing we need, and not just in the south, but most on the south compared to probably to the north, is this sort of person able to give the alarm to the authorities of the country, because sometimes the authorities of the country are quite far of the reality of the ground. It was the case again on the 2003 heat wave we had in France, and it was some people of the population, some doctors also, who give the alarm, and it is very important. After how to measure in detail the impact, I think it's important to try to have this regional organization in all countries, and after a synthesis at the national level. And sometimes it's of course the possibility to have a real image of what happened, and what is the effect of the high temperature we have now all around the globe.
Thank you.
Thank you all. So do we have any doubts, comments, or question? Please write it in the chat, or either you can activate your mic to speak if you would like to.
some experience from you, the panel. Have you with your national societies or your organization? Did you have some experience of heatwave in your country, for example? And what was the strength and the strength and weakness in your country? If you have some experience, or because it's important to share. Not really. So,
okay, so I think we can close if everything was
absolutely
clear. So please, here is our address. You have our Facebook and YouTube, so that you can contact us if you need, see the presentation or having the resources that we talked about. We have shared some in the chat. And I think we can close if we have no more questions.
bye-bye, everybody. And thank you very much to be with us.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Have a nice evening or day, depending on where you are. Thank you for joining.
You. You forgot your mask. You forgot your mask.